Confused on how to figure out what your OVR is? Okay, FC Mobile. Seriously, it's gonna take me like at least 2 months to stop calling this FIFA Mobile. It's like when the new year hits and you still writing the wrong date on your papers for the next 2 months. It's gonna be like that, so just forgive me. FC Mobile is out. We're gonna take a look at today on how you configure your OVR, and I guarantee you it is not exactly what you assume. If you've been here before and you understand the OVR system from last year, it'll make a little bit of sense, but for the rest of you, it's gonna be confusing. First though, make sure you subscribe here at YouTube so you never miss when any of these FC Mobile videos go live, and there will be a lot because this is a brand new season with a lot of changes. There's going to be a lot of deep dives over the next few weeks. Also, check out my other channels for Raid Shadow Legends and Car Culture over at Gearheads. It's simple. Just subscribe. It does make a huge difference here on all of my channels. It's free. It doesn't cost anything, but it does help me out. All right, so let's take a look at the team that you have and look at the OVR. So right now we're at a 90. You're looking at all the players and you're like, okay, so there's 80, 89s, 88s, an 89, and a 94. Why is that a 90 rated squad? That 94 isn't enough to push it over. It is not the average of your team. There are a lot of other factors included, as well as what you have in your reserves. Now, for the sake of this video, we're going to take the reserves out just so the math makes sense to you. For the reserves, it just changes the way you configure it as far as how many you're dividing it by. Your reserves change your overall numbers when you're figuring in your averages. Okay, so the first thing is the math for putting together your OVR follows the rule of integers. So we say this because it's not averages, it's averages and then the next positive integer. So there's no decimals, there's no remainders, there's no leftovers. If you have an entire squad of 90s, your OVR is a 90. But if you add 191 in, it changes your OVR to 91 because that 1 bumps you above 90, and then once that decimal gets pulled out to an additional place and it's no longer a whole number, when it's no longer an integer, then you automatically round up no matter what the decimal is. There are 2 factors that determine your OVR. Last season there were 3, but because we no longer have skill boost and we only have training and ranking in this new system, there are 2 factors only. The first factor is their base OVR. So when you have players that are ranked up, like Robertson right here, you see the little green hexagon. Is that a hexagon? 6-sided? Yeah, that's a hexagon. Do you see the little green hexagon diamond thing underneath of him at the very bottom? That shows you that he is a rank 1. If you go to his screen, you can see that his rank up level is 1. We're basing it off of his base level. Now, unfortunately, there's nothing here that shows what his base level is. You just have to know that with 1 rank up, his base level is 86. So an 86 at left back, and then going across 88, 89, 85, 89, and then midfield 89, 88, 89, 89, 94, and 86 across the top. When you add all that together, you end up with 972. That's your total. You're going to divide that by 11 because we don't have any reserves. You end up with 88.36. 88.36. You round that up to 89 because, again, you're not It's the integer rule. It doesn't average out to 88. It averages out to 88.36. If it averaged out to 88.000001, it's still 89 because of the integer rule. Okay, so the average of their base OVRs is configuring to an 89 OVR. Once you add in what their rank is, then it takes it up another one. So right now there is only one rank in this entire team, and that is Robertson. So then what we do is we add all of our ranks. So you have to go through each individual player and then add that rank up level over there. And right now there's only one little triangle set up. So we have 1 for Robertson and then 0 for the rest. This is where it gets weird. So it's 1 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0, blah, 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 until you end up with a total of, it's only 1. But you got to divide that across 11 players. So 1 divided by 11 actually ends up being 0.0909 repeated. It's not even a tenth of a percent. It's 0.09. But again, it's not a whole number. Rule of integers rounds up. So plus 1. So 89 for the OVR plus 1 for the rank ups. That's how this team ends up becoming a 90 OVR. Now, remember that, and that makes you realize that to get another OVR from ranking up, you need a grand total of 12 of those rank up points to divide by 11 without a reserve to be able to bump it over to a plus 2. So plus 1 if you have just one player, but the next OVR doesn't show up until you have 11 more in, because we don't base it off of averages. We base it off of just beating the next whole number. That's how OVR is going to be determined this season without anything being handled with skill boost. The other thing to note is with all this is because we only have rank ups in training does not increase OVR, so it does not affect your OVR. Rank does not increase stats, it only increases OVR. So those are the two things that you have to deal with when you're dealing with players. Rank only does OVR and gives you skill points, which you can apply to the players as needed. Training increases their abilities, and they work hand in hand, but not the rank is more important than the training. So rank, the more you rank up the player, it increases their handicap level. So if you have a player with no ranks, you can only train them to 5. If you have a player with no training, you can rank them up all the way to level 5. It doesn't affect one way or the other. You can sell and buy ranked players. You can't do anything with training other than burn the entire player into another player, or strip it if you go to sell the player across the transfer market. Hope that makes sense. Math is weird, I know, but it is what it is. Make sure you subscribe here at YouTube if this helped. I'm FinallyHeSleeps. As long as you guys keep tuning in, I'll keep making videos. Thanks for watching. If you haven't noticed, my YouTube channel has expanded. Subscribe here for EA Sports FC related content, but make sure you check out my other channels as well for Raid Shadow Legends, everything automotive over at Gearheads, and then check out my cringeworthy series for a few laughs. Subscribe links are literally right over there.